Welcome, everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and you're watching Glenda's Dragon's Den. Um, we have tonight, and I'd say we, but LD isn't here with me today. I keep sending him to these healing things and these little errands for me, and okay. Truthfully, we wanted a girls' night out here. No, joking. We have a great guest, Karen Abrams. Welcome.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you for being here with us. It's really we are all grateful that you are here and your willingness to share with the audience what you're all about and how you got here. So please, and especially on such a perfect
Yeah.
numerology day,
hmm
special with, being 9/11 and the anniversary of it, and just that event that changed the world, really.
hmm
So, thank you. So, welcome and tell us all about you.
Where should I start with birth, or should I come up just to where? I don't know when
Well,
that happened, but 9 months later, I came about, and I'm here. Here I am. That's the short version. Um, I guess I could. I probably want to know why I came into the work that I came into. Is that what you're?
yes,
You
yes,
might be.
yes.
I'm psychic, so I got
There
it
you
almost
go.
immediately. Second time around, I got it. So, as I said,
Mhm.
so I am a master theta healer, and I got into this work as I'm sure so many people do, as a bystander and watching somebody else, eating popcorn on the side. Sorry, I'd be going like this. I would be throwing it on other people. But, watching on the side, I had a very good friend of mine who was going through a lot of things and started working with the founder of Theta Healing, Vienna Steibel. And my friend had lots going on. She had a long-term relationship that wasn't going where she wanted it to go to. She was having health issues that doctors weren't able to help her with. And she had a lot of emotional baggage, and she alienated her clients a lot. And
Mm.
so her business was really faltering. And I saw her work with Vienna over a period of time, and all of these areas started changing. Her relationship turned into she transformed it into a beautiful friendship without any time off, just
Mm.
went eased right in. She started finding her health started to improve, and she started finding practitioners who could help her with what was going on. And then she just got out of her own way and healed the root causes of those triggers in the first place, and started making money like hand over fist. Her business
Mm.
just took off. And when that happened, that last part, to me, my ears just kind of pricked up, and I was like, oh, wait a second. This is like real world things that we all want, and it was
Right.
definitely a point in my life where I was hitting an income ceiling and feeling a challenge financially. And so I signed up for the class. She let me say, whoops, I forgot. She's hosted Vienna and to teach a basic theta healing class. So I signed up for it.
Mhm.
And, in this 3-day class, I just watched how she worked with people. And she took like the toughest people in the room, and in front of everybody in like 5 or 10 minutes, did a little mini theta session with them. And they had this really big realization. They had a little bit of an emotional release, and they looked 10 years younger. And I thought to myself, ooh, I want to do that. Like, I want to do that, like, ooh, that's a big impact in like a very short period of time.
Mhm.
I had been someone who I had wanted to be a therapist, but I was too much of an emotional sponge. I knew I couldn't do it. I wouldn't have been able to handle, my family and my friends if that had happened. And so I felt like I was kind of like, oh, I'm kind of bummed. I don't get to do what I want to do. I
Mm.
know why. And then when this came up, and this had also a process that actually takes you out of somebody's space after you work with them, so you can allow them their own experience, and you don't have to go home with all of their emotions. And so afterwards, when I came home, from this class, I noticed that I was feeling really grounded. I was
Mhm.
breathing really deeply. I felt very clear. I had a lot of clarity and joy, like a very deep joy. And I remember walking around my living room and doing the breaststroke, and I was like, why do I have all this I didn't even know there was a thing here. Like, I just felt like I had all this space in front of me. I didn't know what it was. And I had had anxiety for 6 years at that point in time. I'd been working with my therapist for about a year and a half at this point, and we did remarkable work. And I was willing to do anything just to lessen what I felt every single day. And even with the work that we were doing, there was like this chunk left that I couldn't get at, and I didn't know what it was. I'm like, why we got here? We were here, we got here, and I need to get this. What's this? And in that moment of that clarity, of that groundedness, of that peace and calm, I realized that my anxiety was gone. And it was the first time in 6 years that my body had been out of fight or flight.
Mm.
And I just did backflips, when I realized that happened. And any other time that I got calm for a moment, then my nervous system would reignite because, your body just wants to do what's normal to it. So after 6 years, it trembles all day long. So it's like, oh, okay, we'll just go back to that, just switch that
Right.
back on. And so it was a really incredible experience because the moment I noticed, nothing happened. I'm like, and nothing happened, and nothing
Mhm.
happened, and nothing happened. I'm like, ah! And so it was such an amazing experience that I just signed up for every class I could take. There was practice classes. My friend was teaching. Diana was teaching classes in LA and in Idaho. At that point, she was there. And I just put my credit card down and boom, I'm doing everything I can. I can't even explain what this stuff is. I don't know, but what it just did for me in 3 days was remarkable. And about 3 weeks later, I had some of my symptoms of the trembling came back, but it came back so much lighter. And by then I was in these practice classes.
Right.
So I just kept, it just kept, I kept chipping it away and away and away till at some point in time, I just didn't notice that it was there anymore. And that's the difference. It's like if you're in pain or there's some sort of symptom that's at the top of your list, when it gets down to here, you're just going, oh, okay, it's not interesting anymore because it's just not in your face, right?
Right.
And so I just moved on from there. I can't tell you. I wish I knew it was a Wednesday or Thursday where that happened. I went from a 1 to a 0, but whatever it was, that's the way I started with this work, and I just dove in head first.
It sounds like the perfect thing, and you saw a way of still helping people without taking down their emotional
Right.
state
Baggage,
at that
right?
moment. The baggage, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's very hard to just put up that wall and say, okay, it's yours. You could release it, but
Right.
no, thank you. I don't want it.
Yeah, and I had known therapists, and we were family friends who were therapists,
Mhm.
and there would be one or two that knew and were fine, and then the other ones didn't really have great social skills because they were still kind of holding in all of this stuff.
Mhm.
And I understood it, and that's what I didn't want to happen to me,
Right.
and so, but this seemed like such a remarkable moment in life that was just screaming at me to sign up for. I couldn't ignore it. And then I got my wish, I got to have my cake and eat it. So I was very happy about that.
There you go. There you go. And so, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this more than 20 years. I think I'm going on, it's September. So it's actually, yeah, we're at 22 years at this point in time. So there's a few things I've been doing more than this, but not many.
No, but it shows that you were doing it when it wasn't popular,
Right. Yeah.
when it was courageous to take those classes because you were not people probably look at you sometimes and go, what, what are you doing? So it's good. So you had the passion for it. That's for sure.
Yes,
For
I
sure.
definitely had the passion for it. And I think when you find your thing, I used to have an educational business, and I taught kids how to study effectively, and I loved what I did. And I always felt like, God, it's like a B plus. What's my A? And and I was scared, like, how do I quit my B plus to find an A and I don't have an A? And so I stayed with the B plus because that's really good.
Right.
That's a really good, solid grade. You're doing great. You're going to go to a good college one day, right? And then all of a sudden, when this just fell in my lap, it was a gift. It was a total gift.
Good. So when did you decide to really go professional, like full blast?
Well, after that spontaneous healing, as it
Uh-huh.
were,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I dove in. I was taking classes like 3 times a week. I still had my educational business, so I was still going for it.
Right, right.
And, you've got to, when you take these classes, and I'm sure this is true for so many things, it's like driver's ed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can take your 20 hours of driver's ed or whatever, but are you a really great driver? You need to practice for a long time. So
Right.
I worked on it for about a year and a half before I went into a practice. But that whole time, I was practicing 3 or 4 or 5 times a week
Mm.
for maybe hours at a time, because it was really, I loved it. I was fascinated with it. And you kind of got to go through all your own insecurities and whatever else
Mm-hmm.
that's keeping you from being seen, so that you can come out there and you can come out and be there. Now you can be confident and start after a couple of classes,
Right.
and then just do that. That's also, totally fine. I would recommend you find someone who has a lot more experience, but whatever works for you. If you feel like you're really connected to somebody and they're really gifted, and the same thing, it's like, you take a guitar lesson, or you go to guitar for a year. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are really great after a year and are ready to go on the road, and then other people can barely put 3 chords together because they don't have a gift, right? So it just depends on whatever your talent is. And I had a talent. One of my gifts here is that I'm really able to help people find out what's the root cause that is holding them back from moving forward in their life, wherever that is, be that their health, be that their relationships, or their financial situation, or just having a great relationship with themselves or other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I always find that the relationship with yourself is probably the most important, and everything kind of builds out of that and helps every
Yes.
other relationship that you have.
Mm-hmm. Now, we all fall into this, or most of us fall into this category. We've always been taught, you help everyone and you do everything for
Uh-huh.
everybody, especially women.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Have you seen that is really one of the major causes that stops women from moving on?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because basically, the people who come to me, I do have men who come to me. The
Right.
majority are women between their 40s and their 70s. They are people who are the rocks of their families. They feel like they give everybody else advice, and they feel like they're getting passed by because they're taking care of everybody else's needs before their own. They're in that sandwich generation, right?
Right.
So they're taking care of the kids, they're taking care of their aging parents.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're going through grieving because one or both of their parents are dying or have passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're at a crossroads in your relationship. And there are also people who have their own business. And so I've been through all of this myself,
Right.
and have gone through this whole thing while, going through my business. I got married. I have a wonderful daughter who's a teenager. I have my own business,
Mm-hmm.
and went through all that, taking care of all of my parents too. So I had 2 sets. That's why I say all of my parents. So, but yeah, so you just feel pulled and stretched in so many different directions, and women and girls are raised to sacrifice themselves for other people to earn their
Right.
existence, and and take care of other people's needs before their own. And
Mm-hmm.
the problem with that, it's a really lovely thing. The problem is that if you keep, taking care of other people's needs before your own, you keep breaking little promises to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like another, it's like chipping away until you just keep disappointing yourself over and over and over again. And you don't necessarily think of it that way, but that's really what you're doing. You're letting yourself down. And what happens at this point is, when you let yourself down, is that then you start losing faith in yourself. You start losing faith in life. You stop believing that you can change whatever's going on in your life that you want to change. And you kind of start feeling really stuck. And you look at other people who are taking your advice and they're passing you by and they're like, that was really great. I'm going to take that football and run, right? You're like, but wait a second, I want it too. So it's important to begin. And then one of the foundational things that I work on, especially with women, and is that to take care of themselves first, because it doesn't mean that you don't have a child who needs help, and it doesn't mean that you don't have a parent who needs help. But when you help yourself first and give yourself time during the day to do something for you, then something different is going to happen. You're going to feel re-energized. You're going to be proud of yourself. You're going to be happy. And when that happens, it gives you so much more energy to work with everybody else, because those other demands are still happening. They don't stop. You can either have a joyful and fulfilling life while it happens, or you can be miserable. It's your choice. And women are raised to do the latter, right? And just be quiet about it. Let's be quiet about it, and just, I'll just quietly suffer and talk to my friends about it, but I'm not going to tell anybody else. And, talk to other women. And so, this is part still how we, luckily there's definitely a lot more out there that girls are seeing to raise themselves and to empower themselves. So there are cultural forces that are at work that are positive for young women and growing into this space, which is really good. And I'm helping anybody who, wants to change that in their life so that they can really become their best ally and go from there.
That's I usually say, make yourself an appointment with yourself. Just write an appointment in, even if it's 10 minutes a day. So
it makes all the difference. And I don't know if you've done that, but especially in the last few years, I've been working on that, of really just taking time for myself and doing things. And even like this morning, because I'm also a songwriter. And so I gave myself, like, I don't know what I gave myself, an hour or 2 hours this morning, just played guitar and worked on a song. I don't know when I've done that, like in the middle of the week. You're like, oh my gosh, is there a rule? I'm going to go to the principal's office soon. I know it. And it made today just go by like that. But there's other times where I'll just throw my guitar out and just so it's out there, and I'll sit down for 5 minutes because I got a lot to do. Can't do it very much, but I can do that, and it makes me a little happy. And then I go off and do what I'm doing, which still I love my work. So it's not that I don't love my work. It's just that I have to also attend to my soul. And everyone has to do it,
And that's the key here. Like, it's not to take 2 weeks or anything like that. It's just enough to make your soul sing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now, do you find yourself having these sessions with men and women differently? Do they go in different branches, or do you find yourself that the same type of healing works for both?
I think it really mostly matters who's the person in front of me, and then, because I have wonderful, amazing guys that I work with, and they're very in touch with themselves and want to know more. And so it really just depends on somebody and their circumstances. And actually, one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is what I do is this theta healing that we're talking about. If you don't know, if you're out there and you don't know, it's basically a meditation it's a powerful meditation that connects you to your subconscious mind and marries that to your inner wisdom. Some people call that God. Some people call that source. It's that loving energy, the most loving energy, so that you can change the kinds of beliefs that are holding you back. I'm nothing, I'm worthless, right? Nothing ever works out for me. It works out for everybody else, right? And it can change with your permission. We can energetically shift those beliefs and get at these trapped emotions that you've had for so long, maybe even generations, that have become toxic. And you can reach that because theta healing has the word theta in it. And you're going into theta brainwave state. We know from hypnotherapy that the theta brainwave connects you to your subconscious mind. We're just marrying that with this divine energy. And so you can come in there and then, I don't want to say swap out, but I want to say heal those old emotions and replace them with unconditional love and understanding and compassion, so that you're changing the beliefs and you're transforming these feelings into your most empowering and uplifting ones. And what happens is that you just start feeling better and lighter. And because of that, now we're going into the snowball effect. You start making better decisions, right? You feel more worthy, so that you're how do I say that? People treat you better, your boundaries are better. And then these barriers that are keeping you procrastinating and avoiding and what you need to do to move forward, they start leaving you. They start coming down, and you're like, oh, I've got to go. I got to do this. I've always wanted to do that. Let me do that. Let me do that. Let me get this, and all these things that you just kind of need to get you to where you're going, you're able to do them. And I always believe that this is about our life and moving forward, and life is about energy and action. And it's not that you have to be a deeply spiritual person to have it. You just have to have that flow, and you have to have the action to back it up, because we can't just, meditate in a cave and make the world and make our world a better place unless we stay in that cave.
Right.
We still got to go to the grocery store and get food. We're going to get cold, and we're going to get hungry. So,
right.
There's things we got to do to make our lives move forward. So yeah, I do believe it's just all about, helping people, whatever their crossroads is, whatever is going on for them. It doesn't really matter whether they're a man or woman. It just matters what they're going through and how they're reacting to it, so that we can change that.
Okay, very good. I know that one of my theta healing sessions on me, was to heal generational things. Somebody, one of my women somewhere in the background cheated and took somebody else's husband, and that other woman cursed all the generations after that.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh yeah, real fun. And I'm like, I'm not, why am I paying for it? Like, let's see, that happened like, oh, God knows how many years ago, and centuries ago, and now I'm still paying for it. Okay, good. That's really good.
That's
so
funny.
But once we did the actual for intense purpose healing session,
right?
It changed. It did change. Like I could feel that energy, that heaviness leaving.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, if I feel like it's kind of coming back, I'm like, hey, remember, we had this deal already.
I didn't pay for that session. I'm not doing it again.
No, not even that. It's like,
right.
We already had the discussion. What you guys, that was back there. Go back there.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, and that's the kind of thing that I'm really impressed with and interested in, because there are so many things that we don't realize that comes from the family tree that we sometimes have to deal with or work through or even pay for.
Right.
And you didn't even have the knowledge of it. It's like, okay, how am I involved in it? I wasn't around. I wasn't even thought of. I was like, but
I always say that we've got a lot of people on our board of directors, and whenever we're making a decision, we've got our ancestors there. We've got the collective consciousness there. You've got everything that's happened in your lifetime, right? You've got, your soul issues. Like there's so many things that are going on. And and then you make your split decision, right? So you get all the advice from them, like run or stay, or you're going to be fine, whatever it is. And then you make the decision, right? You're the president in the situation,
right?
And you make your decision in a half a second. But all of those things are going on at that time, and sometimes you can really feel them, whether you believe in this kind of work or not. You know that there's, we know through epigenetics that there's, that we carry our ancestors' burdens, we carry our ancestors' traumas and belief systems. So that stuff is still creeping in.
Yeah.
into the our collective consciousness, into the mainstream now, which is kind of nice that it's there,
Mm-hmm.
so that we know, and that more treatments can help people because they're reacting from an ancestral place
Right.
now,
Right.
and which doesn't have as much to do with them as it has to do with them before. But they hit a trigger,
Exactly.
and they went off. You know.
Yep. And
Mm-hmm.
at some point, I used to say, "Okay, why am I paying for this now?" And I'm like, I don't even believe in in that kind of stuff. But why am I paying for this now?
Right,
But
right.
that's why I always thought it was funny because I'm like, so I am being stopped at this very moment because somebody back up there decided to go over to the other
Mm-hmm.
lawn. Wait a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of wild, isn't it?
It is.
It's
It
kind of
is.
wild.
And so you, of course, you help with ancestral, and you help
Mm-hmm.
whatever's going on right now, because sometimes even the triggers
Right.
happen when you're younger. That's
Mm-hmm.
where it gets planted and or connected, and then of course every single time something similar happens, it just turns on basically.
Absolutely. And once you heal the root causes of those things, then
Hmm.
that no longer, that no longer triggers you anymore. That's the
Right.
beauty of this work, is if you really get down to, oh, this was about because I got mistreated as a child, or
Hmm.
the history of my ancestors, or it was all about, abuse. I was abused so many times, and that triggered that. When you get down and you're able to go there and really heal all of this, and really then you heal it, then you learn what you're meant to learn so that you can then move on. We all
Hmm.
want to move on.
Hmm.
You can't change your history, but you can change how you react to it,
Right. Right.
and that's what we can do.
Hmm. Very good. Very good. um so what else do you find yourself doing, other things with them at the same time, or just the theta healing by itself?
Well, I definitely, whatever's called for in the moment, I will
Hmm.
I will do with them. I would say it's mostly theta healing. And
Hmm.
then if needed, if there's something that doesn't feel like it's moving and they don't feel like they're resolving it, I'll reach into my bag of tricks and find something else to help them out. It
Hmm.
usually does most of the, usually
Right.
does a lot. It just depends on the person and what's going on, especially if it's something that you feel like it's in the body, and you can feel it being stuck. Like if I
Mm.
feel like somebody's really got stuck energy and it's not coming out this other way, then I will find something else to do. But mostly it does release a lot of stuck energy,
Mm.
most of the time, if not all the time. So
It
it
did for
just
me, I
depends.
could tell you that. And
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm pretty hard to get to. So,
Oh, well, I
well,
guess you're not.
well,
You got it.
yeah, it was. I had to trust that person a lot.
Hmm.
And I'm a
Yeah.
Gemini, so it's rare to
Right.
bring those
Yeah.
walls down. That's just the way it is. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Trust is very important in this work. You
mm-hmm,
gotta find someone that you trust,
mm-hmm,
because you're creating just a safe space, a safe container for somebody to talk, just like if you were talking to a therapist,
yeah,
right? You'd want somebody to be in that room and really hold space for you. And this is the same thing
mm-hmm,
in that sense of whatever's happened to you, it's okay. Let's figure it out, and let's figure out how to heal it. This is about energy. And I always say with this work that it's not about, you know, I've said this before to other people, but it's like, it's not about like, returning to the corner where you got run over by a bus and laying in the street to kind of
right,
relive it, to get it out of your body. It's like, no, you've got traumatic energy in your body, right? You
right,
got it,
right.
and so let's learn what we need to learn from it, and let's heal it so that you can just go from here, because you can. It's just energy at this point. It's a burden, it needs to be lifted from your body. It's got to be, transformed. Your perspective needs to be transformed in the most loving one, so that you can really see what's in front of you, and the most positive spin on what happened to you, because the way you looked at it as a kid
Mm-hmm,
is, came from a nascent brain, right?
right.
And that's a whole, that's somebody who's been, who thinks that the whole world revolves around them, and that if they're, however they're treated, good or bad, has to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they control the world in that way. And so then they think, well, there's something wrong with me. Somebody's mistreating me. And then you hold on to that belief your whole life. And then you attract friends like that, attract
Mm-hmm.
working situations like that, relationships like that. And until you work it out, because your subconscious is like, oh, we'll figure this out. We're adults. We're going to figure this out. But let me just bring another person in who's just like that. Then you'll get it. I know this time you're going to get it. Go ahead, go for it. And then if you don't have the tools and you
Right.
can't get, I would say that when you have deep-seated issues,
Mm-hmm.
that people come to me, have done a lot of things. They've gone to therapy, they've gone yoga, they've taken different classes, they've read books, they've done all these things,
Mm-hmm.
and there's certain issues that are still coming up for them.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hit those issues, they're so deeply embedded in your subconscious mind. You need something that can access your subconscious mind to change that and transform it, or else you're just painting a dirty wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yep.
Well put. Um, is there anything else that you just want to say right now that's coming to you, that's inspiring you to say?
Well, I think that everything that happens in your life matters,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I had a mentor. He was kind of my friend's mentor, but I benefited from his wisdom. So I will say he was my mentor too. And he said that how you react will determine your existence. And like I was saying before, we can't change your past, but you can change the way you react to it. You can change what you've learned from it, so that you can move on into a better life with more wisdom and more clarity and
Mm-hmm.
more power and more purpose. And that's what's possible here.
Mm-hmm. Now, I all I hear, or I hear quite often, every single day, how people are dealing with the economy and how prices of
Mm-hmm.
everything, especially after COVID, the shutdown and all
Right.
that. What would you say at to that? I mean, I know that some people are just stuck in the I don't deserve to have abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what would you kind of tell someone who comes with that?
Well, I think that money issues and abundance issues,
Mm-hmm.
and money is just one part of that, right? Abundance is about a whole full fulfilling life, a whole fulfilling life.
Right.
And I always say that money issues are really life issues that have hit your wallet. And so this is just where your symptom is. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just, so where are you loving yourself in your life is where things are successful. And where you're not loving yourself as much is where you're not as successful, right? Where
Right.
you're struggling. And so it's money is around worthiness, right? And recognizing
Mm-hmm.
your value. And like when we were talking about before, when you are taking care of everybody else's needs, you start thinking my needs are unimportant. When you're a child, when you're a little girl, my needs are unimportant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
got to help everybody else. I got to earn my existence. I have to make my dad happy. I have to make my mom happy. I have to make my big sister happy. Whatever it is,
Right.
whoever it is, we're always there. Or my teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're always trying to earn our existence. And by doing so, we're also saying to ourselves that I have no value without my actions.
Right.
you know and so we've got to get there and change that and find out what your value is. And then I always pair it with practical advice, because you got to be able to be in the real world and use some really good meat and potatoes advice to move you forward too, because you can't just always just go to your theta healer or your therapist or whatever to get advice on something. You got to go and do it yourself. So
Right.
I marry that with practical things so that you can live in your
Mhm.
life. We're here, so
Right.
let's do the things we need to do to be here and be successful at it.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably one of the differences, biggest difference in those that are very passionate about helping others, to those that are just there to do something and to do it, and that's it. It's giving the other tools to the client.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't just about doing this session and come back to 3 4 more sessions, but not helping them go
Right.
from point A to point B with other real life tools that they will
Yeah.
need to help them. And it sounds like you are very passionate about what you do, which is I'm very grateful again that you decided to come on here.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you a story? I'll just tell you a story because
Go
you're
ahead.
dovetailing into. I have this woman that I see people in different ways. I see them. People sometimes come to me project oriented, like this is going on in my life. I just want to work on this,
Right,
fix it. Whatever we do, I'll see you again when something else is going on, which is totally cool.
right,
And then, so those are the quickies. And then there's some people who come, like I'm the therapist, like they come, whatever the regular is for them.
right.
And there's a woman that I was working with, I'm still working with, who grew up in a family where it was a very verbally abusive family.
Right.
So she was a little girl and she was walking on eggshells all the time because she thought she was wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrong, whatever happens there, and they're blaming her for whatever happens, and they're changing the rules and they're gaslighting, and so that when she grew up, and very brilliant young woman, and she grew up, and once she got into the working world, she started repeating the pattern. She had bosses who, once again, she'd get to a job, they're like, oh my God, we're so happy you're here. Come on into our family, right? And then the bosses would start, then they start blaming all their problems. Even though she was there to fix the problems, they started blaming the problems on her,
Mm.
gaslighting her and alienating her. And this happened job after job after job. And getting to what you were talking about, we really got into like really healing the root causes of this, of the abuse, and what it brought about, and what actions it brought about, what thoughts it brought about, and changing all of those. And then it was like, oh, I got to take care of myself. And she started bringing in all this self-care. We just talked about what are the things you're going to
Mm-hmm.
need to do. Bring in self-care. You can always ask yourself, what's the most loving thing I can do for myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
This moment. And you're going to get an answer. And it was like, you need to take care of your nervous system too. So she took up meditation too. And she started doing more things we talked about. Start doing the things that you love to do.
Right.
Start doing more of those, and going to concerts and going on walks and going on hikes and doing all these different things. So their life became a lot more full, plus what we're doing. And she finally finds this job where it starts the same way. You're brilliant. We want you. We've got all these problems.
Mm-hmm.
To solve them. She gets in, she starts solving the problems, and they say, thank you. Oh my gosh, you're
Ooh.
God's gift. Thank you so much for being here. You've got to stay. And she's making good money, and she's getting appreciated. And all of that happened because she started, with this energy and these feelings and these actions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wonderful to watch and be witness to, because it's been a long time, but she did it, she did it.
And that's it. It wasn't just the healing, but also the theta healing, but it was also the tools.
Yes, it's both. You gotta have those to keep going and moving forward. Yes, absolutely.
So, what would you say to someone that just came to you and say, I don't know, I'm stuck, but I really don't know what to do. I don't,
Well,
you know.
no, I understand that. I've been there, haven't you?
Mhm.
Well, sometimes you feel stuck and you're like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, can you like just make
No.
it a little clearer?
If I always say, if a nap doesn't work at that moment, then give me a call. So if somebody came to me and just said, look, I feel stuck. I don't know. I'm not moving forward anywhere
Right,
in my life or
right.
whatever. I don't know what it is. I've tried to figure it out. I can't figure it out. So when you go into this work, and I'm really connecting to, like we said, source, the universe, your inner wisdom, to figure out what's going on. We're having a discussion and a collaboration to figure that
Mhm,
out too, because then I get this intuition. Oh, what's going on with you? I'm picking up stuff about your mom.
mhm.
What was your relationship with your mom? And there's a lot of resentment here. Would you like to heal that resentment that you have towards her? And then, oh, your dad, there was something here. I feel like there's an abandonment issue here. So would you like to heal the abandonment that you felt from your dad? Would you like to forgive your parents for being unable to love you the way you wanted to be, or unable to parent you the way you wanted to be parented, right? They kind of got one shot at it, even though it's 18 years long. But, certain kinds of parenting styles work really great for this kind of kid, but not that kind of kid, right?
Right.
And so we just find through intuition, like I said, what I do really well is figure out what's at the bottom of it and what's going on. So what's keeping you stuck after talking and collaborating about it is pretty easy for me to find.
Good.
Yeah.
Because, I could just see that somebody's just coming in. I know I was directed this way, but I have no idea why.
Right. Right.
Because sometimes we do get directed, and you walk into the place and you're like, no idea. I'm just going to go with the flow here.
Those are fun calls. Those are fun visits, really, because it still means that somebody's open, right?
Right.
They're still open. They're not coming there in like this.
I know.
I don't want to do this. And you try it. You try your weird stuff on me. You see what happens, right? They're coming because they want to. They're seeking something out, and they want it. And their desire is to let go of whatever it is, these blocks that are in their way. And so it's a great time, and a great opportunity to be able to help somebody who's even that is just really fun to me.
Good. Now, you are giving the audience a free gift.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to do part of the healing now for those that are in our audience at this moment, or just a healing session?
Absolutely. I would love to. Oh, so the free gift that you're getting is called Master Your Money Quiz.
Right.
And basically what that is it's a really cute little quiz that will help you figure out what your relationship to money is right now.
Right. And I'll put that on the caption.
Oh, there you go. And when you finish the quiz and it tells you, okay, this is what your relationship is like, it's also going to give you little theta healing meditations, really just a little mini theta healing session where you're getting something called energetic downloads, just like you have downloads in your computer, about different feelings and different perspectives that are going to help you improve your relationship wherever it's at, so that you can step into something bigger. And here's a great piece of advice that I heard that I pass on often is with your relationship with money is a lot of people have very complicated relationships with money. And here we are in this time of great, inflation, right? I mean, how much oh gosh, I had a great little story about that where I went to frozen yogurt with my daughter, really good yogurt. All right.
Yeah.
It was, what was it? It was $17 each. I spent like over $30 on 2 stupid frozen yogurts. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't even know. I was like, oh yeah, honey, just go get it. I'll get one too. God, this is really good.
Yeah.
$30+ I'm like, what? You don't want to get mad at somebody. They're just showing you their charges. But so it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. And you can have a really good relationship with money. And when inflation starts coming up the way it's been coming up, it can trigger you again. So you can have a really good relationship, but then there's a new trigger like that. And then you go back into that like lack mindset or something like that, or I'm never going to be able to make it. And so, yeah, you got to watch. You've got to watch those things. So yeah, you just let me know. I mean, I'll do this for a few minutes and I'll, I close my eyes, but I'll keep one eye open here, and you can tell me when you'd like me to finish. So
you could close your eyes. We'll
you'll let me know. Okay.
I'll just say take a few breaths or whatever, but we still got time. So
we got time. We're good. Okay. So it's the way theta healing is conducted. Is I ask you if I can come into your space, and you can be our proxy.
I could be
Glenda.
Yes.
And everything that's done inside of a theta healing session is as per your permission. I cannot do anything to you. If I wanted to, I couldn't do anything to you. Okay.
Right.
That's why I love this work, because it's really about unconditional love, different forms of unconditional love that you're getting and that you're receiving with your permission. I can't. Above and beyond that, I can have no devious plans here to take over the world. So I'm going to ask you if it's okay to come into your space. And then I'm going to close my eyes. And I have a process that gets me into theta.
Yeah.
And so is it okay if I come into your space?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm going to come into your space. My head's probably going to, my face starts tingling or my head starts tingling. So sometimes I'm scratching my head and stuff. But let me do that. So I'm coming into your space. And this is for everybody here. When you say yes, that means you're giving permission. It doesn't even matter if this is recorded. It's fine. And then I can ask you different things like, would you like an energetic download of a feeling? So what it feels like to trust yourself, trust your gut, be appreciated, things like that, be loved. Okay. And then the other thing is I could say, would you like to know what the universe's perspective, your inner wisdom's perspective on a situation or a person, that kind of thing. And then I can also say, oh, would you like to heal the resentment you have towards so-and-so or for this or that or yourself? Or would you like to forgive yourself for X amount of things?
Right.
And when you say yes, I'll just go into that process will happen. And because you're in the theta brainwave state, your mind is telling your body what to do. So when we're healing emotions, your body's like, oh, we get to heal this and let it go. Oh, and let this other compassion and understanding come in and love. Oh, that's great. And you allow it in. So that's the whole story. And here we go. So we're going to do a little money healing to help you improve your relationship with money. How's that?
That's fine.
Okay. So first of all, let's let you know what your inner wisdom's unconditional love is first. You let you know what it feels like. And so you may or may not feel something, which is totally fine. I always ask for feelings because I want some sort of kinesthetic sign something's happening. So, but you don't have to feel anything. I'm just here to witness all of it. So let's let you know. And would you like to know that you are worthy of receiving your inner wisdom's unconditional love? Cool. And then would you like to know how to and what it feels like to receive it?
Of course.
Okay, here you go. And understand also that my questions may come quickly, but all of this energy and information is going to come to you in your own divine timing. So if I'm like rattling off things, it'll stay like a little spaceship above your head till you're ready, if it's tonight or whatever. It'll just come down when you're safe to allow it to come in. So there we go. Would you like to know what your inner wisdom's joy feels like?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And would you like to know that you're deserving of receiving your inner wisdom's joy?
Yes.
And would you like to know how to and what it feels like to receive it?
Yes.
Awesome. Remember, and money is just another form of love,
Right.
that's coming to us. And so that's why I wanted to bring the love in also. And let's let you know would you like to know, what else do we want to do right here? Know what God's acceptance feels like.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to know that you're worthy of being accepted by God? And I'm saying by God too, because some people may or may not like that word. Some people get triggered by that word, but this is an old ancient belief.
Of course.
So, right? There we go. So that you know what it feels like to be worthy of God's love. There we go. And worthy of God in general, because many religions talk about how God is great and we are unworthy, right? And so we're shifting that right now.
Yes.
There we go. Perfect. And would you like to know what the universe's support feels like?
Yes.
All right. Would you like to know you're worthy of receiving this?
Of course.
And how to and what it feels like to receive it?
Definitely.
So receiving is important. And a lot of us, right, are givers, but we're not receivers.
Right.
But there's a law of reciprocity. And if you just give and you don't receive, then you're out of balance. And you're going to feel dissatisfied. So we got to allow that and let you know that it's safe to receive. And it's possible for you to receive from all benevolent sources and from God, which are all benevolent sources, right? Okay. Would you like to know how valuable you are from your inner wisdom's perspective?
Of course.
And how vital you are from your inner wisdom's perspective?
Yes.
Perfect. And also what's coming up is that you're worthy of good treatment, You're worthy of being treated well by others. And know what that feels like.
Thank you.
And then the next thing that's coming up, and these are all things that are, have to do with this, a different form of it. Would you like to know what it feels like to trust in life and trust in the universe? And know that it's possible and safe to do so now?
Yes.
Okay. And also bring in discernment, because a lot of people have that difference where they go, oh, I'm not going to blindly trust something. That's crazy. So we bring in discernment. So, we just want to suss out what's real, right?
Right.
So perfect. That keeps us on the up and up here. There we go. Let's let you also know what it feels like to trust your gut, trust your intuition, and know that that's possible and safe to do so, and that you can still deal. Here's English is coming out of here. Some eventually. I can't even get my words out because the family. What I'm getting is there's this family thing. Like my family's going to kick me out. I trust my intuition, and so where that comes from is that women are taught to have intuition. Women are also taught to mistrust it or distrust it. And so since that's kind of the cornerstone, so let's say you can honor your family and honor your ancestors without distrusting your own judgment and your own intuition. And that you're standing on the shoulders of all of your ancestors who really truly desire you to have better intuition and to have great, very powerful intuition as a guide forward. So let's show you how to use your intuition for your highest and best with the most benevolent outcome and with grace and ease. That it's possible to do so. There we go. Okay, and let's let you know what money is. That money is just an energy. It's another place to love yourself and receive and accept yourself. And so would you like to know what it feels like to be enough?
Sure.
Right? Because people feel like they're not enough. So we're going to change that belief, but we can't use the word not because our subconscious minds don't understand not, anything with a not on it. I'm not an elephant, but it doesn't tell you what I am, right?
Right.
So there we go. So we're going to change that. That I am enough. You can say something, I'm enough, and then you do comma, no, and then you change that to yes. And I'll never be enough. Well, let's have Source change that too. You see how I'm kind of switching the words around. Source, universe, God, inner wisdom. They're all interchangeable. All right. Let's show you what it feels like to have hope and faith in yourself. That's safe and possible to do so. Hope and faith in life. Hope and faith in the universe and God. And just have that understanding that things start energetically. Things start with feelings. And you build all that up and build all that up and build all that up. And that raises your vibration so that you're able to receive what it is that you desire. Because you become more and more worthy of it. More and more worthy of it. Right? Because when we're unworthy, our vibration is pretty low. It doesn't mean we're not good people. We are good people. We just got to raise that up. Because that's the way that we can manifest our dreams and attract it. I remember Joe Dispenza said it well and scientifically when he said, your thought sends a signal out to the quantum field and then your feelings pull an experience in. I always look at it like your feelings leave a mark, right? And they're attracting, right? They're little radars and they're attracting stuff, right?
Right.
And they're pulling everything in, and your feelings and your beliefs are guiding you, but you're right, they're putting the order out and they're bringing it in. And that's why it's important when you have those, especially those feelings that are so intense, that they be healed so that you can attract something different into your life and change the beliefs. Because even though maybe you came by it honestly, you may have found out that your needs didn't matter when you were little because everybody was bigger than you, and they were like, no, our needs are more important. But we're changing that now so that you can attract something different into your life. And you can make different decisions to fulfill your needs. Okay? So that's what we're doing here. And so I'm nothing. I'm worthless. My needs never matter. Everybody passes me by. Let's have God change all of those beliefs, and make sure that you know that all this energy and information will come to you in all languages on all levels. Just means that anywhere in your subconscious mind with all your, ancestors and everyone, every language will be accounted for. Then open all the file drawers and dump them out. Okay. All right. And then also just to show you how strong you really are, how resilient you really are, and how deserving you are of abundance, and you're deserving of being fulfilled. Abundance is just, I always look at it like if you look at yourself as like a house, and you've got your relationship area, and you've got your money area, and you've got your work area, you've got your career, you've got all these different places in play. And abundance is just like having a light in every single one of those rooms.
Right.
So there we go. And all right. And so and that you're deserving of having a fulfilling life, and you're deserving that at this point moving forward, that it's possible for you to have the power to change your life to become more fulfilling, and to lean into what makes you happy, to start doing things that make you happy, to remember what things used to make you happy so that you can start doing those and see from there what's going to work. And also, one of the things that you can do to improve this relationship with money too is start treating money like a cherished friend. How do you treat your best friend? You don't ditch their calls. You don't deny what they're telling you. You don't, run everywhere else except over to them. You tell the truth. You face them. You support them. You believe in them. And those are things that you can translate into real actions with your money. You can visit your bank accounts, you can balance your checkbook. You can create a budget. You can invest wisely. You can pay back your debt. Right. You can do all of these things. You can pay your bills when they come in. You can do all of these things. You can figure out how to generate more income. Those are things that you can do, and that's how you translate that kind of thing. But when you treat your money as a best friend, you'll be in a better position than you ever will be without it. I'll tell you that. We're
running to about a minute and a half before the show ends.
Okay.
I could tell you about the beliefs. My mother, I could talk to her about anything. My father, I couldn't.
Right.
So
it's absolutely true. So why don't we complete this with a body healing? Is that okay?
Yes.
There we go. So that's just, if everyone would like a body healing, just say yes, and you can feel this beautiful energy whoosh through your body, or know it's going there if you don't feel it, but it's still going there. And let's let you know who you are from God's perspective with all these changes that will continue to evolve. So you know who you are and you recognize yourself. And then just bring your energy kind of back into your body all the way down through the bottoms of your feet, ground you out into the ground, and then bring that energy all the way back up to the top of your head so that you're back in your body, ready to move forward with your life.
Well, thank you. That was wonderful.
You're very welcome.
And I cannot wait to hear our audience response to all this. Just hold on for a second. I would like to say thank you to everyone, and thank you again for being here. We would love to have you back. And as always, many blessings, and we love you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.